Thanks, but I got a prisoner calling me, but I do need to talk to you.
To block any future calls of this nature, dial 7 now. To accept this call, press 5 now. To decline this call, hang up. Thank you.
Hello again. Sorry for the earlier interruption.
No problem.
How you folks doing? I just got notified by my counselor that I have classification hearing in a little bit here.
What's that mean?
That was all the hubbub. It's a game they play to see if you're angry or not, or you're following the rules, or this or that. Every year I got to go through this.
Oh, I see. Have you heard about red flag laws, Patrick? What they're trying to push out here in the United States?
No.
What it is they actually had somebody murdered, but what it is because they're trying to take guns away from everybody, and if like your niece or your family member or your friend reports you to the police as somebody who's unstable that owns a gun, a judge can decree without any due process. There's no jury. There's nothing. A judge can send the cops out to your house and confiscate your guns with these red flag laws simply on the report of a family member or friend who doesn't like you. And that actually happened in one instance, and they ended up killing the guy when he refused to give up his guns. And what happened is his niece went to a Thanksgiving party or a Christmas party, and the guy's niece felt uncomfortable that this guy owned guns, and so the niece, after the party was over, called the police, and next thing you know, he's dead because the police came out to get his guns and he wouldn't give them up. And that red flag law is happening all over the country. It's really, really terrible.
This is the next stage in Nazism.
Yes.
1928.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I put in for Monroe again, and I would ask you to have everybody that is on your list of contacts and stuff to pray for me.
Yep.
So that I can be nearer to Robert with the things that's going on in his life right now, and since he's come back into my life, and I haven't seen him since he was 19 or 13. And it would be a better place for me because of Agnes, because it would take $260 plus off of her spending each time she comes to see me. And if I can get anyone out there on your calling list to call the superintendent and tell them that they're a friend or relative or friend of the family or something, and that it would be a better move for me to be there, since I didn't have any infractions there at Monroe and got along better with everyone, including the officers.
Remind me where Monroe is. Where is Monroe?
Monroe is above Seattle.
Oh, okay. All right.
And it's WSR. It's Washington State Reformatory. It started out back in the day. In the beginning, it was the teenager reform school, and it was promoted to being life without prison back in the 60s or something, when McNeil Island was sent back to was allowed to be taken over by the federal government for a while.
I see.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a better place for me, and it would put me closer to those that I need to be with, both legally and family-wise. For my people to come here to Spokane, it's no, from where they are, it's no greater distance than it is to go over the mountains to Monroe. Go west rather than east. in it. The environment here is not suitable for human or animal consumption.
Yeah, it sounds. I understand. Well, we're going to pray you get moved to Monroe, and we're going to pray for your son Robert's back surgery for sure.
Please, I appreciate that.
Have you been getting any books? Have you been getting any books or letters from me?
I got a book a while back, the Pilgrim's Progress.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I thank you for that. And I thank you for all the support that you've been doing and stuff. I need to ask you one more favor. If it's possible to either hook Agnes up to the news video for Dr. Whitehurst's resignation so that she has audio and video, or to my son, or to both, and have it work out okay. The video that Agnes has doesn't have any sound to it. That's what the problem is there, and she needs to have that, and we're going to use that as part of our approach to the next move on trying to obtain the statement from the FBI, because this, where Whitehurst was concerned, our case was right in the middle of that time frame that he had, as to stating to the public that the FBI was fashioning their reports to best suit the prosecution rather than to tell the truth.
You know, I think I can find some news articles, and I'm pretty sure there's some audio and video where he talks about the forensic laboratory FBI procedures and how corrupt they were, and how they were slanted towards the prosecution, and they did not. I call them fantasy forensics. It was basically they just made up whatever they needed to make up in order to support the prosecution.
Well, Agnes went into the files on my case now, because we had a question about whether or not the memory stick that we put things on was complete with that or not, and she found a statement that was presented to my attorney where the prosecution had declared that the bullet that killed the Officer Millard was from a .357 Magnum, and it was turned around by Prosecutor Burchard, sent back to FBI laboratory saying that, oh no, that can't be true because the defendants were shooting a 9mm, so it came back a 9mm. Never mind the fact that the picture of the bullet that came out of Officer Millard was twice as long as a 9mm, and that you couldn't have fired the projectile out of a 9mm casing in a 9mm weapon.
Yeah. The fact that the FBI fabricates evidence and misrepresents forensics is so common. People don't realize how bad the FBI is, but I have seen example after example after example, and I will try to find something on Dr. Frederick Whitehurst and get it to both your son Robert and Agnes.
I appreciate that muchly. I don't know how to thank you, St. Rudy and St. Aaron.
No. Hey, let me ask you, are you familiar with a story by the name of Ruby Ridge? His name is Randy Weaver, the FBI. And if I've got a book that he wrote, and if you're interested in it, I could order you a copy, and I can make sure you get a copy of his book. He wrote a book, and he gives us kind of a discount because we're a prison ministry, and so if you like, I'll get you a copy of. I'll order you a copy of. Okay, I think you'll enjoy it.
Yes, I would appreciate that a lot, because that happened right after our our episode, and it turned out that the tactics that were used on us and on Leonard Peltier at Pine Ridge and Ruby Ridge were all from the same notebook.
Yeah.
I want to see if there are 3 names in this book also that are connected to that.
I can tell you. I can tell you 3 names that I've been given to pray about that justice will bring. That God will bring justice. One of them is Herb Byerly with the ATF. He's a very evil man. The other one is Larry Cooper. I believe he's a U.S. Marshal. And then the third one is the sniper himself named Lon Huriuchi. Those 3 men are just absolutely wicked.
Well, in our case and on our reservation, we have Alvarez, Elliott, and Osley. Mr. Osley took a position in Stevens County as a law enforcement officer later years, but Mr. Elliott was working for my tribal law enforcement group as a go-to for the prosecutor to determine how to approach cases to win. And Alvarez was a street officer that I ran into at powwow doings in '85, and we had some words, and I told him that it'd probably be a good thing if he left my reservation and didn't come back. And he said, "Your reservation?" I said, "Yes, my reservation. I'm enrolled here, and my people go back before this was ever a reservation."
You bet.
So anyway, be that as it may, those are the things. I'm trying to get out of here because I don't want to have to protect myself to the death on every little statement that comes either directed toward me or I have to bring forth in order to justify that I'm a prisoner here in their population. I do beadwork and I do music, and I try to keep everything on a positive and humorous and caring level. But I'm at that point to where I've got to have some work done by the opposite side in that direction also, because you can't exist in an environment where you've got authority doing whatever it wants and not following the rules.
Right. You mind if I
want to have that's why I want to have as many people as you can contact possible to call the superintendent here and get him to approve my move to Monroe.
Yeah. When you say the superintendent here, you're talking about the warden at Airway Heights?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll have to look his name up. I don't know who it is, and I've never seen the guy, so I don't know.
Okay.
I know that he's approved visits for me, but that was by way of his secretary.
Yeah.
For Agnes's visits here, and I don't even know if there's a guy that exists that's in that position. This is the thing. But we need to have as many phone calls as possible from your list of people that are online with you to try to get this move approved. It'd be a better thing for them and for me, because if I have to stay here, I just have that terrible feeling that something bad is going to happen down the line, and I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah. I understand. Let me confirm the mailing address for this Ruby Ridge book. It's Patrick Hoffman, number 232336, and underneath that we put N as in Nancy, B as in Baker, so NB19, PO Box 24 2049, Airway Heights, Washington 99001. Okay, what's that NB19 stand for? Is there anything that stands for?
That is Nora B-side 19, the cell that I'm in.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
Yeah, Nora is the unit that I'm in. It's N unit, and the B side, it has an A and B side to it. 2 tiers of 33 cells. So you've got 66 people on the 2 tiers, so 124, 134 in each unit. And we're overcrowded. We don't have, when somebody gets taken to the hole or cons their way out of here, it isn't half a day before that cell gets filled.
Yeah. Wow.
So we've got movement here that is totally different than any place else on the planet. Yet we're supposed to conform our activities to whatever given officer is thinking at the time. We're supposed to know what he thinks, even though it isn't even in the rule books.
Yeah.
I'm 70 years old and I get treated like a 2-year-old. Oh, you just piddled on the floor. You can't do that.
Yeah, it's really terrible. The prison system in this country is just absolutely satanic. I really do hope God works a miracle to get you out of there. One thing I was going to share with you, our preacher was given a sermon about this, and he said when people go to the doctor nowadays, the doctors are now asking their patients, are you happy? And if you don't say you're happy, that they continue to dig into your emotional state, and then they'll try to take your guns away. Everything is about taking your guns away, so.
Yes. But here's the deal. Those that are purporting for that and stuff have bodyguards that are packing weapons.
Right. Exactly.
Now, that's not right. If you're going to take the weapons away, let's start with the police. Let's start with the mercenaries that can't control themselves.
Amen to that.
Yes. I just saw on the news this morning about a little gal who got stopped in a traffic stop by a police officer and told to get out of her car because she hadn't used her turn signal.
Patrick, I got to interrupt you, brother. I watched an hour and 41 minutes of Sandra Bland last night. My wife and I watched the whole documentary, and it's horrific. It's horrific what they did to Sandra Bland, and they can do that. Do that to anybody. Yes.
Yes, and get away with it.
Yep. If they either killed her once they put her in prison because she triggered them and she was going to expose them, or they drove her to commit suicide. But she should have never been put in prison in the first place.
No, not for a traffic violation.
Right.
That's stupid.
Yep. It's terrible what they did to that lady. It's absolutely terrible.
Yes.
Let me share this with you too, because I'm interested in your opinion. I don't know how much time we got, but the only critique, the only thing that I said as I reviewed the whole situation, and I think it's horrible what they did to her. Don't get me wrong, it's absolutely bad. But you have these big protests in Chicago and New York City, and it's all about Black Lives Matter. And I'm like, okay, I understand where the black people are coming from. They have been targeted, they've been abused and mistreated. There's a massive prison mass incarceration. But from where I sit, Patrick, it's not just a black people problem. It's a problem all across the country. And I personally think Black Lives Matter is limiting their effectiveness because they only focus on black people, but it's happening to everybody.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then I don't know what the hell we got here.
Yeah. I hear an alarm. Is you okay? It sounds like an alarm going on.
Yeah, and it's nothing except the guy in the booth is playing a game.
Okay.
Anyway,
you have 30 seconds remaining.
I am all for freedom. freedom over all.
Yeah. Amen.
What Mr. The one that made William Wallace the Braveheart.
Yeah.
Freedom.
Yes.
Freedom for all.
Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson.
Yeah, that's the one. Thank
All right, that's Patrick Hoffman. He needs people to call the warden at Airway Heights. His address, if you want to mail him a letter, is on list of other prisoners. And you can go to yearofjubilee.com. Jubilee is spelled with one E, just like it's spelled in the King James Bible. And you can write Patrick a letter, and he's asking to call the warden, be nice and polite, and just simply say that you think it would be a good thing if Patrick was moved to Monroe in Washington as opposed to Airway Heights. Thank you for your time.